That's the physical resilience. I want to talk about mental resilience now, and I'm going to bring up a model that pretty much everyone in the room should have seen before. But what we find is, with regards to stresses, there's three domains that they can fall into. They can fall into the things that you can control, they can fall into the things you can influence, and they can fall into the things that you're concerned about, but you don't have any influence or control over. Right? What can you control? What I had for breakfast. What can you influence? The behavior of a partner. What can't you influence? The weather. Right? It's funny, when COVID first happened, my son came to me, Zachy, and he said, Dad, I'm a bit anxious about this. And so what we did is we sat down and we made a list of things that we could control and things that we couldn't control. What could we control? Social distancing, sanitizing, washing our hands, helping other people. What couldn't we control? Lockdowns, infection numbers, how long things were going to go on. And what I want you to do is, if you're feeling stressed, and this is something I used to get my patients to do, list your stresses and put them into these three categories. All right, three categories. Mm-hmm. Because if you're spending all of your time focusing on stresses that are out of your control, you will find you'll be more stressed, you'll find you're more depressed, and you'll find you'll have more of what we call in psychology learned helplessness. Learned helplessness. All right? If you can influence it, then do something about it. All right, put a plan in place, have a conversation. Might be a difficult conversation. All right, problem solve. And there are no perfect solutions. And if stuff was easy, it would already be solved. Right? But have a think about, where do they fall? Often I talk about, with regards to stresses, there's only three things you can go. You can remove the stressor. These are the middle two circles. You can change your response, or you can use coping strategies. Okay. And if it's in the outer one, use the last two. Okay. But knowing where it is sometimes helps you to be able to react in a way that's going to be a bit more positive. Are people okay with that? Hopefully everyone's across that. I mean, that's nothing new. All right. Okay, I want to talk to the ruminators in the room. And this is on page 10. What is ruminating? Come on, tell me, what's ruminating?
It's constantly playing the same scene over in your mind.
Spot on. And you know what? It's usually negative stuff, right? It's usually stuff that we regret, actions we didn't take, mistakes that we've made. And what we do is we beat ourselves up about this stuff, right? And usually we wake up in the middle of the night and we do it. All right, or when we're on your own. And what we find is, this is talking about problems that have no solutions. Right? And I'm here to tell you, you can spend all your time thinking about good stuff or thinking about bad stuff. Guess which one's going to make you happier in the long run? So what we need to do is we need to have a strategy to get the rumination under control. All right? You need to have a strategy to get the rumination under control. So my advice is, first thing, and you can make a note of this on top of page 10 if you want to, or just listen. First thing you need to do is make a list of the things that you tend to ruminate about. Have you ever noticed making a list puts it outside of you, helps you to be able to distance yourself from it? But what it also does is sensitize you to it. So what you can do now is you can catch yourself when you're doing it faster. All right? So make a list, sensitize yourself, catch yourself. And then the fourth thing I want you to write is use a thought-stopping technique. Use a thought-stopping technique. People go, "That's great, Scott, but what is that?" Well, I'm going to turn it back to you. What thought-stopping techniques do you do? What do you do to stop the cycle in your head? Right? What do you do? I'm going to give you some tips, but I want to bring out, how do you stop the constant cycle?
I try and practice a little bit of mindfulness and bringing everything right back to the here and now, and that I'm safe and I'm okay. Yeah.
Good stuff. And the mindfulness is stuff I'm going to talk about. Deep breathing, chewing gum. It's funny. Sometimes a physical thing can take you away from the mental thing. Right? And I'm going to talk about this. One of the things I get people to do is focus on the physicality. Focus on your body. Focus on your breathing. Am I breathing fast? Am I breathing slow? Does my body feel warm? Does it feel cold? Do my arms feel heavy? Do they feel light? And just focusing on the physical stops you focusing on the mental, because you can't do the two things at once. Right? There is no such thing as multitasking. It's
sometimes I go outside.
Go outside, and sometimes you might need to change the environment. Right? Go out in nature, have a look at things. Good. Anyone else got any things that they use? Don't say pick up your phone. I sometimes use visualization.
Breathing.
Breathing is good. Fantastic. People said the 5-4-3 technique, the 5 things I can, help me out here, people, 5 things I can see, taste, touch, or something. I can't remember exactly what the 5-4-3. Feel free to Google it if you want to know that one. I use visualization. When I wake up and I'm ruminating at night, right, I visualize myself playing a game of golf. Right? see myself up on the tee. I can see the fairway in front of me. I can see the trees, feel the wind on my face, see the birds. And I hit my tee shot, and guess what? It doesn't slice for a change. All right. And then I'll do my approach shot, and then I'll putt, and then I'll play the next hole. And I even know which course I'm playing, by the way. I can see it. It's right eastward. And I play that course. And then by the time I've hit the third hole, I'm asleep. Okay. So the visualization has stopped me running over stuff in my head. Okay. Some people will talk about it to a friend. All right. Helps you get some perspective. Okay. But you have to have a thought stopping technique. Okay. And if you can't come up with one, send me an email. We might need to go through a couple. Okay. But you have to have a thought stopping technique. Coming to the next point that you mentioned, Karen, is about mindfulness. Mindfulness. We are bad at mindfulness. And you know how I know we're bad at mindfulness? Because I watch people waiting for a lift and they pull their phone out. Have you ever seen this? Oh my God, how could you be unentertained for the 7 seconds it will take the lift to arrive? All right. But we do it. We do it, and we constantly do it. Why do we do it? Because these apps are built to specifically engage us. Right? And they're rewiring our brain when we do it. It's funny, as a kid, when in the future, I was promised a jetpack, right? I was promised I'd have a jetpack. I didn't get a jetpack. What I got was a Pandora's box of cornucopia that is so engrossing the average person can't even look up when they're walking down the street. Right? Can't even look up when they're walking down the street. So what I want to do is come to that mindfulness. Now, this obviously comes from Buddhism and meditation and things like that. Anyone do meditation in the room?
Right.
Okay, fantastic. Do you use an app? Is it something that you've just learned to do, or is you go to a class and do? What do people tend to do?
I was taught.
And it's a skill, and you do have to learn it, and you do have to get better at it. Right? But it helps you. And what mindfulness is being in the now. Right? It's being in the now. It's not about worrying about the future. It's not feeling bad about the past. It's being in the now. And I often get people to work through some of those negative emotions. I often talk about the 3 emotional blockers. There's anger, anxiety, and feeling down. Anger is in the now. Anxiety is about the future. Feeling down is beating yourself up about the past. Okay. It's but being in the now. Right. And this is why I put a couple of tips in there. Practice, focus on your senses. Do one thing at a time. If you're doing the ironing, do the ironing. If you're doing the gardening, do the gardening. Right? Give the person in front of you 100% of your attention. We never do that. We're always thinking in our head what we're going to say, or fast forwarding to the end of the conversation and solving the problem, or doing that impression formation stuff with the person. Just focus on that person. It will deepen your relationships, and try to turn off technology a little bit. Right? Okay, here's my thing for you. Okay, next time you're in a restaurant and you're waiting for a friend, don't pull out your phone. Look around the restaurant and see if you can pick who's married and who's on a date. All right? Just have a look, see what you can learn. Next time you're standing in the line at the supermarket, don't pull out your phone. Have a look at what's in other people's trolleys. See if you can work out what's going on in their life. All right? But what I'm saying is have a go at being in the now, because as Dave pointed out with regards to meditation, mindfulness is something we have to learn and practice as well. Okay? And it's something that will help you to center, and it will help you to feel more satisfied. Okay, good. All right, are people all right with that? Cool.